Valmiki Ramayana, Bala Kanda, Book 1, Sarga 33, Canto 33. The Sone, the Sona. Their task achieved, the princess spent that night with joy and full content. Ere yet the dawn was well displayed, their morning rites they duly paid, and sought, while yet the light was faint, the hermits and the mighty saint. They greeted first that holy sire, resplendent like the burning fire. And then with noble words began their sweet speech to the sainted men. Here stand, O Lord, thy servants true. Command what thou wouldst have us do. The saints, by Vishwamitra led, to Rama thus in answer said: Janak, the king who rules the land of fertile Mithila, has planned a noble sacrifice, and we will thither go the right to see. Thou, Prince of men, with us shalt go, and there behold the wondrous bow, terrific, vast, of matchless might, which splendid at the famous rite the gods assembled gave the king. No giant, fiend, or god can string. That gem of bows, no heavenly bard, then sure for man the task were hard. When lords of earth have longed to know the virtue of that wondrous bow, the strongest sons of kings in vain have tried the mighty cord to strain. This famous bow thou there shalt view, and wondrous rites shalt witness too. The high-souled king who lords it o'er the realm of Mithila of yore, gained from the gods this bow, the prize of his imperial sacrifice, won by the right, the glorious prize, still in the royal palace lies, laid up in oil of precious scent, with aloe wood and incense blent. When Rama answering, be it so, made ready with the rest to go, the saint himself was now prepared, but ere beyond the grove he fared, he turned him, and in words like these addressed the sylvan deities: Farewell, each holy rite complete, I leave the hermit's perfect seat. To Ganga's northern shore I go, beneath Himalaya's peaks of snow. With reverent steps he paced around the limits of the holy ground. And then the mighty saint set forth and took his journey to the north. His pupils, deep in Scripture's page, followed behind the holy sage, and servants from the sacred grove, and 100 wains for convoy drove. The very birds that winged that air, the very deer that harbored there, forsook the glade and leafy brake, and followed for the hermit's sake. They traveled far, till in the west the sun was speeding to his rest, and made their portioned journey o'er, their halt on Sona's distant shore. The hermits bade when sunk the sun, and every rite was duly done. Oblations paid to fire, and then sate around their chief, the holy men. Rama and Lakshman lowly bowed in reverence to the hermit crowd, and Rama, having sate him down before the saint of pure renown, with humble palms together laid, his eager supplication made. What country, O my lord, is this, fair smiling in her wealth and bliss? Deign fully, O thou mighty seer, to tell me, for I long to hear. Moved by the prayer of Rama, he told forth the country's history. Jai. Beautiful. Valmiki Ramayana. Amazing, amazing, beautiful, beautiful poetry. Footnotes 45:1. A river which rises in Budelkund and falls into the Ganga near Patna. It is called also Hiranyabahu, golden-armed, or Hiranyavaha, Oriferous. That's river Sona. The river Sona. That's the name of this chapter, of this particular chapter. The Sona. The one that resounds very, very tumultuously. It has a deep, resounding flow. Divine celestial river. So basically, what is going on now, after Rama and Lakshmana killed some demons in the previous chapters, the demons, Rakshasa demons, or man-eaters. Rakshasas are man-eaters. They eat men. After that was done, now Rama and Lakshmana are asking the sages what's next. And the sages replied that we would like to go see a special sacrifice of King Janak in a country called Mithila. They would like to go to see that. So now they are all journeying over there. And Mithila, it's very close to Tibet. It's in that area. Um, very close to Assam and Manipur, right in that area. And that's the place where Sita was born out of furrow in the in the in the wheat field in the wheat field in a wheat field. Yeah, she was born out of the ground, the furrow made by a plow. And the sages want to go there and bring Rama and Lakshmana to see that celestial bow of Lord Shiva displayed there. And anybody who can string and wield that bow can gain a princess, the beautiful princess there for uh, for the bride. And that's a part of Ramayana's pastimes where Rama finally gets to see Sita for the first time and win her. Beautiful, just beautiful God's pastimes when God appears in this material world. He exhibits this just most glorious transcendental pastimes, and the whole purpose of these pastimes is to attract the fallen conditioned souls to go back to God and associate with God like that eternally. That's the whole purpose. The whole purpose is to understand that God is a person ultimately, just like the sun is a form that emanates sunshine. So God is a form, transcendental form of perfect bliss and knowledge and eternity that emanates everything in existence. This material world is just an emanation of God's energy, just like the sunshine is the emanation coming from the sun. The sun is the personal aspect of God, and the sunshine is the impersonal aspect of God. So they are people who like to, I guess, worship God in his impersonal feature. That's fine, but that does not mean that God has no personal form and personal qualities, and again personal self-interest. Cosmic consciousness, we are hearing this word thrown around, cosmic consciousness, and how this cosmic consciousness we need to connect to so we can, you know something, as if that universal consciousness is there for us. How about we are there for it, or he or she? We are meant to understand that source, not that source is meant for us to better us. Now the source has its own self-interest. So like this, the source comes and exhibits these beautiful pastimes like Ramayana, like Mahabharata, the source comes in the form of Rama and Krishna, and tells everybody that I'm the source, I'm Krishna, I'm Rama, and join me, join my pastimes, like Hanuman, like Arjuna. So, so this is this is the source, the original source. The original source is a transcendental form, a transcendental eternal form of perfect bliss and knowledge. And that's Krishna, that's Rama. Rama means the pleasure, the source of all pleasure, that's God. The source of all happiness, that's the meaning of Rama. And Krishna means the source of all beauty, of all attractiveness. That's the meaning of Krishna. So we are all searching for this bliss, Ananda. And that bliss is fully found in Krishna and Rama. And that's the most easiest method to connect to that source of Krishna and Rama, by remembering their transcendental pastimes, eternal pastimes that are going on eternally in every universe. They are just going on eternally. And the whole purpose of these pastimes of Rama and Krishna is to bring us back to the transcendental platform, to the transcendental kingdom of God, to associate with Krishna and Rama eternally, like that. So many things to talk about. Yeah, so Vishwamitra, he is leading the way to Mithila to see King Janak, and he is bringing the boys Rama and Lakshmana. So they are going to see this sacrifice done by King Janaka. Back then in Satya Yuga, no, this was Treta Yuga, 1.5 million years ago, the prescribed method for achieving self-realization was doing sacrifices, doing Vedic yagyas, fire yagyas. Now those sacrifices, because we are so conditioned to think particular way, we are thinking that this is some kind of animal slaughter sacrifices, barbaric um, animal sacrifices. This is what we are thinking when we are hearing this word sacrifice. But no, back then, primary sacrifice was offering of ghee, of ghee or clarified butter into the fire. That was the primary form of sacrifice. Of course, there were animal sacrifices, but they were very, very difficult to perform, and not on a daily basis, but on a very, very particular, long stretch of time. Lots of arrangements had to be made. Like, for example, for Ashwamedha sacrifice. Ashwamedha. There is Ashwamedha and there is Gomedha too. Ashwa means sacrifice of the horse, of a horse. And Gomedha means the sacrifice of a cow. Those sacrifices took long time to perform. Everything had to be arranged perfectly. There was so much of proper recitation of Vedic hymns. There is so much of gold needed to be available. the setup of the altar, the columns, everything had to be nicely arranged. And for example, in Gomeda, when the cow has been sacrificed, it is not like, again, what we are thinking as if we are slaughtering a cow. It was not like that. It was when Brahmanas would chant the Vedic mantras. Here, our Ralph Griffith is translating word mantram into English word spells. In other words, they are sound vibrations, recitations, sound vibrations, transcendental, that by properly pronouncing and living a life of virtue, two things, properly pronouncing and living a life of virtue can have the actual effect, this kind of sounds, mantras. So the cow would go from one end of the fire. They would let cow walk through the fire of the sacrifice. And it was usually an old cow. And as the cow would walk through the fire, it would come out on the other side as a young calf. That was that was the real Vedic Aryan sacrifice of the cows at that time. In Kali Yuga, this kind of sacrifice is completely forbidden because there are no qualified brahmanas to perform this kind of high level of recitation in a state of a pure mind full of virtue. In Kali Yuga, we have all lost our marbles. We have all lost our virtues. We have become so sinful and filthy and dirty. As you can see, every single day, we have so much lying, cheating, deceiving, destruction, wars, profanities, all over the place. The whole ether has been contaminated with lies, with cheating, with foul mouth words, with constant arguments and bickering and stress and mental diseases and all kinds of garbage. So we cannot perform this kind of ancient Vedic Aryan sacrifices anymore because we have lost all virtue. We are so, so gone that we cannot even imagine the quality, the caliber of morality and virtue practicing back then. It's beyond our imagination. But that's how people lived back then. They did not have a need to even write books down because the memory was so good that everybody back then had a memory. When you hear something, you remember it your whole life. Your brain was so very well utilized to 100%, literally to 100%, that there was no need for the books. Okay, to think that the discovery of printing press and books is part of the human evolution is so stupid because they don't tell you that we are not actually evolving, we are devolving into complete animals. Complete animals, Goyim, the Jews, the Hebrews, they call people Goyim because people in general are Goyim, are animals. The way they behave, it's like complete hedonistic, materialistic, cow munching cannibalism society, satanic globalist Burger King, from Viking to Burger King, from novelty to complete low class life, of meaningless materialism, consumerism, complete utter ignorance and illusion of existence. That's the new world order. Is to forget ancient history, to forget the gods, to forget God, and to be absorbed in complete darkness of ignorance, of materialism, capitalism, and communism. Complete ignorance, perfect illusion that we are evolving. It is so ridiculous. This is how convincing these demons are, that they are telling us that we are evolving. No, 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 we are not evolving. We are devolving more and more and more. So, yeah, we cannot perform these sacrifices back then. That was done back then. So, in this way, the only sacrifice in Kali Yuga that can be performed, because everybody likes to chant all kinds of slogans and stupid political agendas over the internet, on the streets, everywhere, because people have this tendency to chant and they like to dance. In Kali Yuga, the only sacrifice that is allowed is Harinam Sankirtan, is the chanting of the Maha Mantra, the greatest mantra, the greatest sound, the greatest holy name, the holy name above all holy names. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yep, that's it. That's it. Valmiki Ramayana. Ciao.